Grand Rising, y'all. So, I decided to read my book as a new reader, right? Like someone who has never heard of Rob Jua, someone who doesn't know my story, and someone who just wants to work on themselves and get past any blockages they may have. And I'm gonna share this journey with y'all to show you that this shit works. I know I went through it. I went through a lot of tough times to get to this. Anyhow, my book is called Rich Again. It's a spiritual roadmap back to your God-given self, your powers, your abilities. It's really just to retune your mindset so you could go do exactly what you want to do the way you want to do it. It gives you that bulletproof mind. One of the first chapters, aka deposits, right? I call it a deposit because you need to deposit habits back into yourself because you've been depleted, right? Through life, through pain, through heartbreaks, through all this stuff. Debits happen, right? Things get taken away from you and you lose them. So you have to learn how to put confidence back into you, put skill set, tactic, just all type of things. You need to learn how to put them back, right? So I call it a deposit for sure. One of the first deposits is tune out the noise and tune into God, right? Because again, when we wake up, we often grab our phones, go check emails. You know, we do all this nonsense before we pray. I'm guilty of it too. So that's why I put it in there, because I'm not always consistent. Sometimes I wake up and it's like, oh, emails, life, kids. And I forget to tune out the noise and just be silent for a little bit. So I did that this morning. I reminded myself, right? I read chapter 1, aka deposit 1. I tuned out the noise. I tuned into God. It gave me some clarity. It made me, start the day and remember my vision, remember my purpose, remember what I want to accomplish today. Not what I've got to accomplish this year. What do I want to accomplish today? That silence, that stillness allows you to tap in to the present, to the moment, because the moment is what you got. Now we stressing about tomorrow or stressing about yesterday. Yesterday's over, tomorrow ain't here. But it allows you to take more control of the present. So, yeah, man, I'll even read an excerpt for you guys right quick. My book, our book. Look, we all have different beliefs about how the universe works, but no matter the differences, most people can agree on one thing. Connecting to a higher power takes some silence and focus. Silence is one of your biggest assets. You hear me? Silence is one of your biggest assets. When we get still and quiet, we create a space for deeper connection. Our everyday life can get real noisy, cluttering our minds with negative thoughts, worries, and distractions. This noise can cloud your judgment and tamper with how you tune in. If you're not tuned in properly, you can miss out on some really important messages from God and your inner self. Trust me, you don't want to do that, beloved. Most people wake up, including myself, thinking about their huge to-do list. We grab our phones before meditating or praying. We check our texts before checking in with God. And what's so important on your phones? Nothing. Grabbing my phone right when I woke up was a bad habit. It affected my prayer routine, which affected my peace of mind, which affected my workout routine, which affected my self-care practices, and more. Growing up in Brownsville, Brooklyn was very challenging. I was surrounded by distractions every day. The biggest distraction was always the lack of money. It was the root of violence in the neighborhood for sure. I knew that money wasn't the only remedy, but it was one of the most important. I started plotting on how to get me some. I idolized the dealers, the athletes, way more than I did the average workers. Personally, Mike Tyson was my favorite. The dealers had all the cash, cars, chicks, and respect, but they always ended up dead or gone. The athletes were popular, but they was broke. And I needed that paper, B. Mike Tyson was the closest person I could resonate with. He was a street guy who did everything wrong but ended up in the right place. He was nothing to play with, a real goon with a huge heart. I wanted to be just like him, but I had no idea how to get there. My father wasn't around, so I ended up gravitating towards my grandmoms in the streets. Mama, as we called her, had tons of wisdom and was definitely the alpha in my family. She told me about God a lot, but never explained how to actually connect to God. My mom was a single parent raising 6 kids. She was always overwhelmed, so getting some solo time from her was hard. I honestly think she was too stressed back then to sit still and hear God. Long story short, I didn't have a clue about how to tap into my higher self. That's just a little excerpt. You're gonna get the book, you're gonna get the rest with the steps and everything, how to do this. But long story short, I'm gonna show you how to tap into God. And first you gotta know how to be still. When you wake up, don't be frantic and panicky and think you gotta answer emails and answer everybody. You ain't gotta do nothing. You ain't gotta do none of that. Everybody gonna be okay. Everybody will be okay. Your boss, be okay. Emails, be okay. Instagram, it ain't real, who cares? Your TikTok and all that, none of that is real, who cares? You gotta check in with you. You gotta wake up and anchor in. So I'm gonna do my book in front of y'all. I'm gonna do the exercises. I almost purposely took December off to start January fresh and undergo this process on myself. Even though I went through it already, I've been there. But something telling me to do it in front of y'all. Pause. So here we go. Make sure you get your copy. Go on the link in my bio on Instagram or go DM me and get your copy directly from me. Pardon a little spit. Pause. I love y'all. We gonna change together or keep changing. Holla at your boy.